Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Nez Nation Live. We have a lot to talk about today, so grab your favorite beverage, grab your favorite snack, your popcorn, or maybe you have a delicious dinner or breakfast or lunch, whatever time you're watching this. Sit back, relax, because your boy Nez is going to take care of you. I'm going to key you in on all of the things that the woke, fake, radical mafia media won't share with you, as we always do here at Nez Nation Live. Replay viewers, let me know if you're watching this on the replay. Give me a replay, just a team replay. Type team replay in the chat. I always love hearing who's watching live, who's not. Maybe even type live if you're watching this live. Also, let me know where you're joining me from, what city, what state, what country. I love hearing, because it's not just the United States. Everything that happens here in the United States does not just concern us, American citizens, but it concerns the entire world, because what happens here sends ripples across the geopolitical landscape and then some. So I love hearing. We got a lot of great fans from New Zealand, from Africa, Asia, Australia. Look at this. We got the best mods in the house. Laura Tilford, great to see you. From Paris Crossing, Indiana, great to see you. We also have the best mods in the business. So we're going to get right into it. But first, I just want to say this at the top of the hour. We are going to be conducting, it's almost ridiculous, because I just got back from traveling a week and a half ago, and I had to catch up on a lot of things. I had a lot of family obligations I had to take care of this past week. We were planning on doing a live stream giveaway for passing a huge milestone here on our YouTube channel, over 300,000 subscribers. I am so grateful. I am eternally, truly humbled. I can't tell you how thankful I am to each and every one of you. So I've been kind of planning this, catching up, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, long story short, we're going to be doing a celebration this coming weekend on Saturday. That is going to be that's going to be the end of the month, August 31st, Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Pacific Time. And come join us. The topic will be determined, because, everything's always changing. I always give you the latest breaking. But this is especially important to all members, because at the end of that live stream show, I'm going to be giving away a lot of amazing things. Not only am I going to be giving away hats, shirts, mugs, but I have I usually do one grand prize. I'm going to be doing 3 grand prize giveaways of Amazon gift cards. Each one is going to be $100, not 10, not 25, not 50. I'm giving away 3 $100 Amazon gift cards, and that is for members of our channel. So if you're watching this on Facebook, Twitch, or Rumble, it would behoove you to become a member on our YouTube channel. It only costs you a cup of coffee a month to support the greatest channel on earth, getting our country back. That's the whole purpose and premise of this channel, as most of you original OG members, viewers, and audience members know. The whole purpose of this is to get our country back. We need to get our country back. This is the most consequential election of our lives, probably the most consequential election since 1864. And so I am extremely grateful to all of you. Now would be a great time to become a member, because we're going to be doing an amazing giveaway this coming Saturday, August 31st, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Don't miss it, because it's going to happen. I can finally plan it out. I'm very excited. Okay, so we're going to talk about what happened today on the anniversary. Trump showing what exemplary leadership is all about. The anniversary of the disastrous abandonment. You can't even say withdrawal. It's essentially an abandonment of the 20-year-long war initiated by nobody named Trump, okay? Initiated by all the previous swamp vermin. It's so funny. Everybody at the DNC kept blaming Trump. Trump was mentioned over 300 times. At the RNC, Kamala and Biden were mentioned only 3 times. I almost gave the wrong finger there. Only mentioned 3 times. You know what was mentioned at the RNC? Things like inflation, grocery prices, bills, rent, mortgage interest rates, the economy, the border, overseas spending, the country in turmoil, crime, DEI, woke ideologies that are literally decaying our republic right before our eyes. Real policies that real Americans care about. I can't wait. By the way, I've got a huge video coming out later today on a Democratic activist, huge progressive political volunteer who came to her senses. You got to watch that. That's coming out later today. Probably more towards the afternoon, evening. It's going to be absolutely terrific. But that's all the DNC. That's all they talked about was Trump. Everything's Trump's fault. They've had control of the government for 12 of the last 16 years, and all they talk about is the economy is Trump's fault, the foreign disasters in Israel, Hamas, China, with Ukraine, Russia. It's all Trump's fault. The border is Trump's fault. Crime is Trump's fault. Gas prices. They just blame Trump for everything, literally everything. I mean, if somebody jaywalks, it's Trump's fault. So they don't take any accountability, any responsibility. And so we're going to talk about that today. We're also going to talk about a lot of things that are happening with the current state of the media, which is really, really important, and a whole lot more. But first, I want to talk about this. This is something that I think is really alarming. I'm going to share a clip. So we got a lot to cover. So sit back, relax, hang out. We're going to have a lot of fun. So I want to talk about this. So I want to talk about Kelly Robinson issuing this statement. Okay, if you don't know who Kelly Robinson is, I want to show you. This is her LinkedIn right here. So Kelly Robinson is, I don't even know what this means, but I do know that LinkedIn is probably one of the most woke, radically progressive websites on planet Earth. I literally, if you're on LinkedIn, let me know. I mean, I'm on LinkedIn. A lot of my consulting clients and my business, relationships happen on LinkedIn, especially my executive coaching business that I had for a long time. I mean, I still do it somewhat, but I've basically sold everything and I'm full-time media now. I'm completely 100% committed to our independent grassroots media organization, which you're basically a part of right this very second. But Kelly Robinson, who is the president of the Human Rights Campaign, which I don't even know what that means. It sounds like another ridiculous title for a ridiculous organization that claims to force, sort of this autocratic, authoritarian, censorship and forced equity programs. I doubt that they're actually doing any real good, especially after you hear this. This is something that should offend every American. I want you to hear what she says and how she classifies the very documents that have created and engendered the values and principles of our republic. I want you to watch this and then we're going to talk about it. It's a very, very short clip, but essentially this Kelly Robinson individual, she spoke actually at the DNC. I never even heard of her until recently, but I want you to listen to this and then come on back.
We can't just worry about protecting democracy. In this moment, we've got to reimagine it with people that look and love like us at the center. And I think for us right now, it's about reimagining freedom and this American story in a way that is more revolutionary than what our founders actually put down on that little piece of paper, but instead is the type of democracy that is by and for all of the people of this country. That's the opportunity that we have.
Wait. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did this Miss Kelly Robinson, who is the president of the Human Rights Campaign, let me just read this BS bio that she has. 15 years of experience as a results-oriented leader and innovator in the progressive field. Give me some vomit emojis in the comments, please, right now. I don't have to read any more. That's just absolute garbage. An expertise in sexual and reproductive health, rights, and justice, and a deep commitment to leading with equity, which basically means a deep commitment to being completely non-inclusive, actually being an exclusionarist, and essentially engaging in discrimination. Anybody who doesn't have the right pigment or skin tone is not allowed in our little elitist club. That's essentially who this person is. And correct me if I'm wrong. Did she just call, let me just rewind that. Did she just call our Constitution a, quote, little piece of paper?
And I think for us right now, it's about reimagining freedom and this American story in a way.
Reimagining freedom? That sounds really scary and eerie. You see, this is the kind of word salad, thesaurus gymnastics that these radical, progressive, anti-American liberals, they thrust upon our kids in the indoctrination camps, aka universities and the public school system. They engaged in this type of rhetoric for the entire duration, 4 straight days of zero substance, zero policy, just a bunch of platitudinous joy, joy. We're all about joy. Hey guys, we like joy. But what about my groceries? No joy. What about my rent? It's just joy. But what about people killing Americans coming over the border? Drugs, cartel members, thugs, rapists, murderers. Just scream joy and everything goes away. That's what we're all about. The entire 4 days. That's what it was. Platitudinous, empty-headed, empty vessel after empty vessel, including the person who is the nominee for the Democratic ticket at the top of the ticket, Comrade Kamala. She didn't say one thing the entire speech. And so this is the same kind of jargon. This is the same type of empty vernacular that somehow has hypnotized 48%, essentially half of our country. And I'm going to say this, I know I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. My fellow Americans, Nez Nation, one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful forces in the universe is propaganda. I've done plenty of videos. You and I have talked about this intimately in great detail, time and time again. How I showed you that graph in the last live stream, how 94%, the disparate disconnect of corporate woke fake media, I'm talking CNN, NBC, CBS, all the major networks, have given positive airtime to Kamala 94% of the time and negative airtime over 90% to President Trump. It's no wonder, everybody. It's no wonder that this psycho lunatic Crooks, who now we know for sure, without a shadow of doubt, he did not work alone. It's no wonder they tried to smear him, hurt his family, bankrupt him, jail him, indict him, malign him, paint him as Hitler, and then try to assassinate him. It's no wonder. This is the type of dangerous rhetoric that foments dissension and stokes the fire of violence, looting, rioting all across our great country. And she has the audacity
that is more revolutionary than what our founders actually put down on that little piece of paper.
Can you imagine if Trump would have said something like that? How crazy would the woke mafia media be if Trump called the founding documents of our glorious republic little pieces of paper? What kind of press would he get? How many attacks would... Let me know in the comments. What do you think would happen to Trump if he said something like that? And I want to hear from you. What do you guys think? Right. Thank you, Alicia. Alicia says, a little piece of paper. How dare she? Didn't earn it. Yeah, that's exactly right. She is the personification, aside from the queen bee of DEI, didn't earn it. Kamala Harris. This Kelly Robinson, she probably earns a salary, multiple 6-figure salary for doing nothing, having a nothing title, which literally engages in discrimination. She openly engages in anti-American rhetoric, and she gets away with it. And she gets awards. She gets speaking keynote positions. She gets showered with praise and adulation. But if she was white, could you imagine if she was white? Could you imagine if she didn't have that look, that diversity, equity, and inclusion look, and she didn't scream, joy, it's all about joy. If she didn't scream that at the top of her lungs like they all do ridiculously, what a pageantry of eloquent lies the DNC was. Could you imagine what would happen? Well, much like Roseanne Barr, she would lose her livelihood, lose her way of taking care of herself and her family, and costing jobs of many other people who did nothing wrong, just like Roseanne Barr didn't do anything wrong, who lost the ability to take care of their families for saying one thing, right? So anybody who doesn't have the right pigment, okay, anybody who does, it's even like I find myself so disgusted even discussing this. But again, the reason I do this is because it's so important. We need to get the word out. You've got to stop being hypnotized by this platitudinous, empty-headed, thoughtless, anti-American, pro-terrorist rhetoric. People need to wake up. You're not going to see this on NBC, CNBC, Fox. You won't even see this on Fox. You won't. This is the type of rhetoric that inflamed Matthew Thomas Crooks to do what he did. Okay. So that absolutely drives me nuts. It should drive you nuts too. Okay. And then that leads me to this, which is, this guy, I think, oh my God. I mean, this guy to me is one of the worst. I mean, one of the worst guys. This Boykin guy, Keith Boykin. Let me show you this, what he said recently. And this has a lot to do with DEI too, because that's essentially what we're talking about. But I want to talk about this real fast. So he actually said, Keith Boykin, who is let me find out who he's a professor, of course. So Keith Boykin is a professor. Where does he teach? Let me see real fast. So he's an author, which the title of his book is Why Does Everything Have to Be About Race? That's the title of his book. Dartmouth College, Harvard Law. Okay. Well, this is what our indoctrination camps have turned into, essentially. I want you to hear what he says, which, I don't even think I don't know who this lady is. She was on CNN, but I want to share this with you because it all relates. These are the people that get away with literally murder. But he actually said burning the American flag is patriotic. I want you to listen to this. This is so important. It's huge.
Make America a better place.
Can I ask you a question? Because there was American flag burnings outside the DNC. And I mean, there has been a lot of commentary.
And people have the right to burn flags.
And they absolutely do. But it's not, let's be real, it's not patriotic.
It is absolutely patriotic to burn a flag. It is absolutely patriotic.
I will never burn a flag.
Part of being an American means respecting the right of people to disagree with America.
But it also means respecting the flag.
Make America.
Wait. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing. But when you burn the American flag, you anti-American, troglodyte, empty-headed vermin. These are the kind of people I've worked with. I've literally worked with these kind of people when I was in the public sector teaching at the university. This is like, it's literally they clone these guys, okay? They came out of the very same system that they now govern. They're a byproduct of the indoctrination that they now bestow upon our kids and thrust down the throats of all of our children. It's this radical, extreme left of Marx, left of Lenin ideologies. It just boils me up. What do you think of what he just said? This is a professor. This is somebody who gets airtime, and he can literally explicitly spout hate of the country that has given him all the opportunities, all of the abundance, all the money, the right to do whatever he wants, and he spits. Because when you burn the American flag, there's nothing wrong with disagreeing. Okay, Lori, I'm with you. Lori said that boils my blood. It should boil every American's blood. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing. There's nothing wrong with even arguing. There's nothing wrong with even getting a little pissed off. Excuse me. But burning the American flag does nothing but disrespect, is the politest word I can use. Disrespect all of the amazing American men and women who sacrificed their lives, sacrificed their time, sacrificed their limbs, sacrificed their minds, sacrificed their hearts and soul for our ability to enjoy these freedoms, these rights that we now possess. Burning the American flag is not a right. Burning the American flag is not even in the same city, let alone ballpark, of patriotic. This is the guy teaching our schools. This is the guy who gets elevated to higher positions in academia. This is the guy who gets promoted because he has the right look. Literally, that's his only qualification. No matter how much garbage pours out of his cranial cavity, he's the one who gets promotions. He's the one who earns obscene. These administrators, these deans, these heads of departments, these guys are these are the most obscene salaries. They literally do nothing all day long except make sure that the radical Marxist, Leninist, woke ideologies, and there's safe spaces and trigger warnings, and kids have the right to identify as cats on campus. These guys do nothing all day long except for that and make fancy speeches and ridiculous venues, and they get promoted. They get obscene salaries. When I say obscene, it's a king's ransom, my fellow Americans. It's not just a six-figure salary. We're talking some of these guys get $400,000 or $500,000 a year for spewing this nonsense. And when Americans have finally had enough, look who comes to complain. Watch this. So I want to hear your thoughts on that, but watch this. As soon as you know what, we're going to actually listen to actual Americans. We're going to actually listen to what, people want and people have said in the past. Look what happens. I can't wait to show you this. Look what happens. This is what happens, my fellow Americans. You have essentially, what you have is this right here. This is MIT has vowed to revoke all DEI, equity, inclusion, BS policies. And there was a results study that came out. I want to share this with you. And then listen to this professor who, again, looks the right part, right? Look at what he says in response. I can't wait to show you this. Oh my God, it's going to drive you absolutely crazy. Okay, I want you guys to watch this. This is huge. Check this out. Okay, right here. OMG. Here we go.
Eyes were on the DNC this week. MIT released some data that confirmed our worst fears about the Supreme Court. The university's incoming class will be significantly less diverse than in previous years, and that's thanks to last year's ruling that gutted affirmative action. MIT, one of the first to release enrollment data since that ruling, says its percentage of Black students dropped to 5% from 15% last year. And the percentage of Hispanic and Latino students dropped to 11%, down from 16%. Overall, all racial and ethnic minority groups had a decrease in enrollment, except for Asian Americans, who had a 7% increase. And the university actually saw this coming. It was among several universities and colleges that signed an amicus brief to the High Court 2 years ago in support of keeping race-conscious admissions. Joining me now, Eddie Glaw Jr., James S. McDonnell, Distinguished Professor at Princeton University. He's also an MSNBC political analyst. Professor, it is great to see you as always. So this is not a surprise to anyone. I think when SCOTUS struck down affirmative action, you and others warned us about the impact this would have on students of color, saying that we would begin to see a kind of segregated higher education landscape. Your initial reaction now that we have seen these initial new numbers from one university, and what are you hearing from others in academia?
Well, first of all, it's great to see you, Eamon. We knew this was going to happen, as you said. I suspect that the data will be similar at the other Ivies, my own institution, Princeton, Harvard, Yale, Dartmouth, Penn, Cornell, and the like. We should probably see this across the board in terms of elite institutions and ranking or top state public institutions. We knew this. We knew the data. We saw what happened in California. We know just 10 years after Prop 209 was passed, only 96 freshmen, Black freshmen, were admitted to a class of over 4,000 at UCLA. We saw a 44% decline between 2006 and 2022 at the University of Michigan. And so this was, in fact, the expected outcome. And what's so tragic about it, there are those folk who are reading this outcome as an example of what happens when merit is taken as the principal deciding factor, when in fact, this is actually proving the opposite, Aim.
Wait. How is that proving the opposite? How is that? I mean, he stops right there. And of course, Amos, or whatever the hell that guy's name is, I don't even know who that is. He doesn't actually say, well, can you back that up with actual data? Have you ever been? How many of you out there? I mean, this is not, this will probably be taken the wrong way. I can't wait to see the heat in the comments I'll probably get from this. I've had Asian friends, okay? I have Asian friends right now. Their household is literally, typically, just generally, I'm not saying there's always exceptions, but they are run on an extremely strict regiment, okay? It's not like most American households where, especially nowadays, I mean, when I was a kid, if I talk back to my dad, it was woodshed time automatically. Nowadays, pretty much the kids run the household, right? Trigger warning, safe space. Let's talk to our children. We need to have discussions. Don't get upset at them. Don't reprimand them. Have a nice little quiet conversation with them. Basically, kids run the entire household now. If you've ever had an Asian American friend, remember when you were a kid, every time I went over there, I literally felt like I was in boot camp. I'm not even kidding you. I felt like Patton. This is what it must be like to be in Patton's regiment. I was trying to literally just walk in the house, and I was trying to be as polite as possible, and I literally felt like I was committing a crime and being yelled at for doing nothing. But these kids were, they had a very, very strict regimen. I respected them. I didn't denounce them. I didn't even necessarily feel sorry for them, because I knew somehow instinctively, I knew that, man, these kids are never going to get into trouble because they're never going to defy these guys, meaning their parents. So your worst fear is that instead of a meritocracy where you actually earn the right to get included, earn the right to go to school, earn the right to be accepted by actually working your ass off, which is the exact principle that America was founded on. Hard work always wins. The best idea wins. The best person for the job wins, not the person with the right skin tone, something that you have absolutely zero control over, like the color of your hair, your ethnicity, your background, your gender. What you're saying is the exact opposite. You're saying these universities should be discriminatory. I mean, this almost makes me think, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Let me know what you think of this, by the way, in the comments. But this almost makes me think that the Great Replacement Theory really is, there's something to that maybe. What are you guys saying? That a university and learning institution is not a true learning institution unless there's a bunch of people that look just like you? I don't understand whether they deserved it or not, whether they worked for it or not. I mean, think about this. I've got a lot of friends who are like, look, I worked my butt off to get into Harvard. I worked my butt off to get into Stanford. Why are you now all of a sudden saying we need to hand these things out like candy? It's an insult to all the people of color who worked their asses off, who actually earned those degrees and didn't get anything handed to them. This is the ideology. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Americans, Nez Nation, this is the personification of DEI. If you earn a position outside of merit, whether that position is a school, a job, anything, okay? If you earn anything without actually earning it, well, then that means you didn't earn it. That's DEI in a nutshell. Discrimination, period. I, for one, I don't ever want to be governed under a system like that. That's not the American way. These radical, progressive, extreme leftists, what are they trying to turn our country into? There's a reason why every industry, I don't know about you guys, but when's the last time you went on took a flight somewhere? When's the last time you actually took your family to a restaurant? When's the last time you checked into a hotel? When's the last time you bought something at the store? I don't know about you, but the quality of service, the quality of products, goods, and services, ever since this cancerous woke ideology infected our republic, I don't know about you, but in the last 10 years, I'll be generous. Let's just say last a couple of years, even though it's probably longer than that, I've noticed a serious decline in quality on multiple levels, in multiple verticals. The healthcare industry, hospitality industry, airline industry, education, right? Manufacturing. I mean, you name it. It has infected every single vertical. Why are you guys so opposed to a merit-based system? You claim to be on the side of equality. You claim to be on the side of anti-racism and making race never. I mean, the title of this moron's book is "Why Does Everything Have to Be About Race?" You're the only one injecting race. Did you hear Big Mike's speech, Michelle Obama's speech at the DNC? We covered this in a live stream. She said Donald Trump is afraid. Donald Trump is afraid of successful people like my husband and I who happen to be black. You've got somebody who wields influence like a toy wand, and she wielded it so irresponsibly. You know how many leftist, radical, woke mooks look up to these Obamas? We're ready for a new chapter, a new story. I'm going to fake a reverence accent. And I tell you, when I come down from the hill, when I come down from the mountain, that's my impression of Obama's DNC speech. A new chapter, a new story. You guys wrote the book. You've had control of the government 12 of the last 16 years. What do you mean new chapter? What do you mean new story? Okay, give us some examples. I'll wait. Give us some specifics. What do you mean? What kind of policy? What kind of plan? What kind of blueprint? What kind of strategy? What are you going to do in your first year, your second year, your third year, your fourth year? What's your foreign policy, foreign affairs policy? What are you going to do about the war? What are you going to do about inflation? What are you going to do about gas prices? What are you going to do about energy bills? Nothing. We got goose egg. Big fat goose egg. Everybody give me a big fat goose egg, big fat 0 in the comments right now. That's what we got from them. But no, they want handouts. They want their way. They want everybody to look like them, whether they're qualified or not. Oh, look at the board. I see a lot of white people on that board. You guys really don't believe in diversity, do you? No, we actually believe in a meritocracy. We don't look at race. We never make anything about race. I've been running businesses for 30 years. I've never, ever, ever, on my kids, I've never made one decision, one hiring decision based on pigmentation. Not a one. Never. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Hasta la pasta. Garbage. We got to get our country back. Garbage. Okay. So that's that. And by the way, so we're going to get to Trump and Biden and everything just now in just a second. But what is up with Hollywood? I have to talk about this real fast. Why is Hollywood just absolutely full of garbage? Can anybody tell me this? Why is, I mean, I don't know. Am I the only one that thinks Hollywood is just getting worse and worse and worse as the years go by? Am I the only one that thinks this? You've got now Quentin Tarantino. So besides all the Momos, the Clooneys, the Ruffalos, oh my God, De Niro, the biggest mook of all time. You got all these people saying, I'm going to move. If Donald Trump becomes president, I'm going to move. You always say that, but I haven't seen it. You always say you're going to move, but I never see it. So when are you going to move? When are you going to move? You always say that, but when are you going to move? So now you have Quentin Tarantino, and I'm not going to share the clip, but I'm just going to talk about it. Billy Baldwin actually threatening Robert Kennedy Jr. Did you see this? Billy Baldwin, who's Alec Baldwin's brother, threatening RFK Jr. for making the choice to support Trump. And now you've got Quentin Tarantino, who goes on to the Bill Maher show or whatever, or podcast, I don't know what it is, and he actually says, no, we have to win this thing. Did you guys see this? We have to win this. I don't want her doing any press conferences, referring to Comrade Kamala. I don't want her doing any interviews. I want her to shut up. We need to just win this. She shouldn't do a press conference. She shouldn't do an interview until after the election. Wow. I mean, wow. And they're never going to move. They always say that. Streisand, Rob Reiner, Ruffalo, Clooney, all these mooks in Hollywood, Ben Stiller, all these ridiculous, untalented momos in Hollywood. They always say that if Trump becomes president, I'm moving. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get up and move. I will happily help you pack. I'll even pay for your moving expenses. Get the hell out of here. But Quentin Tarantino, somebody who I actually had profound respect for. I loved his movies. I mean, Pulp Fiction changed my life. It literally changed my life. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but I was in high school when that movie came out. And it literally, dropped an atomic bomb in my consciousness. I've never seen anything like it. 1994, I'll never forget it. October 1994, I went and saw Pulp Fiction in the theater. And I think I saw it 4 more times after that in the theater. I didn't know films could be told that way. I didn't know storytelling had that kind of power on the big screen. And now you're going to say, I mean, it's so anti-American. Where is your loyalty to the country that gave you everything? And now you're going to say she shouldn't do press conferences? She shouldn't do interviews? Thank you so much. Adorable Deplorable. Oh, I love the name of your channel. Sending love from Texas. Love it. Great to see you. Yeah, Debbie, I'm with you. I wish they would leave. We'll all help them pack. Let me know in the comments if you would help any of these rootless, brainless, heartless, anti-American celebrities move. Let me know. Would you help? I think we should just, it'd be kind of cool. It'd be really cool to maybe live stream the whole thing. Get a big, gigantic van, go to Hollywood and be like, we're here. We're here. Where do we start? Where's the bedroom? You want us to start in the bedroom, the kitchen? Where do you want? What do you mean? We're going to help your ass move. I hear Ukraine's beautiful this time of year. You ready? Get in the car. He says, I don't want her to do any press conferences. I don't want her to do any interviews. I want her to shut the F up. He literally said this. I can't play it because I'll probably get a flag or a strike, but that's what he literally said. Hollywood is just, it's gotten so bad. Hollywood's gotten so bad. Okay, let's get to the main story here. And this is something I want to talk. I can't wait to get your thoughts on that. Okay. But this is what I want to actually share with you. The big story, Trump really showing the world what leadership looks like. Former President Donald Trump honored 13 service members who lost their lives in the botched Afghanistan withdrawal 3 years ago, joining families of the fallen for a private event, as you can see on the screen, at Arlington National Cemetery in Washington, D.C. Meanwhile, where's President Biden? Where's the nominee, Comrade Kamala? Where's Comrade Kamala? I mean, I get it. You don't want to do interviews. Okay, fine. You don't want to do press conferences. Okay, fine. You don't want to do debates. Okay, fine. You can't honor the people who sacrificed their lives for our country, our rights, our freedoms. What are your thoughts on that? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. On August 26, 2021, ISIS-K suicide bomber Abdul Rahman detonated an explosive vest outside Hamid Karzai International Airport's Abbey Gate, ending the lives of service members and nearly 200 Afghans. Trump team heavily criticized Biden for how the evacuation was handled and skewered the president for never honoring with an official ceremony the families of the service members who perished. The private event at Arlington was meant to stress Biden and Harris's roles in the withdrawal after the Veep made a point of agreeing with CNN's Dana Bash in August that she was the last person in the room when the pullout was ordered. So she wasn't there. So Trump was there, and he's not even the president, okay? Or at least the sitting president. He's probably the true president, if we all know what happened in 2020. But to me, that really, really reeks of foul play. And I don't understand how anybody can vote for this vermin when you've got the anniversary of, you've essentially taken 20 years of sacrifice, thrown it out the window. The Taliban took over Afghanistan in less than 24 hours after that botched abandonment. You had people, grabbing, holding on to airplanes that were leaving Hamid Karzai Airport, International Airport, begging Americans not to leave, begging Americans for help. What are we supposed to do now? Why are you abandoning us now? And now, just recently, there was a report that the Taliban, not only do they have full control over Afghanistan, not only do they have full control of the capital, but they're now issuing probably one of the harshest anti-women misogynistic Sharia law policies, where women not only have to cover themselves, but they can't even show their face in public. All because of the cowardice and unqualified. When I say DEI kills, it literally does. That's not a figure of speech. It literally kills. And so I'm just absolutely shocked by that. I would love to hear your thoughts. Some of the families had a very, very harsh message for Kamala. Gold Star families have spoken to Trump, but a couple of these families have something to say to Kamala, and I want you to listen to this, because I feel like this is probably one of the biggest. I want you to watch this right here. A Gold Star mother of Marine SSGT Darren T. Hoover says Kamala and Biden have never reached out to us. Watch this. Holy macadamia nut. Are you kidding me right now? How can you never reach out? Who is running the country, by the way? Who is running the country? Oh, by the way, let me share this real fast. So not only has hold on a second. I want to share this because I think this is brutal. But not only has Biden and Harris not shown up, okay, they have not shown up for this honor of honoring these 13 Americans who sacrificed their lives. But Biden has just departed for his second consecutive vacation in a row. He just got done with his 6-day vacation in California, and now he's headed to Delaware for his back-to-back vacation. What happened to ending your presidency with strength? He's gone on his second straight vacation in a row. Who's running the country? Can somebody tell me who is running the country right now? Because I don't know who's running the country. He's on his second vacation in a row right now. How is that okay? I mean, how is that okay? Reporters tried to stop him. Watch this. I'm going to share with you this. Reporters tried to actually ask him some questions while he was boarding the plane for his second vacation in a row. I want you to watch this. This is the most egregious thing I've ever seen. I mean, I don't know who's running the country. Can somebody tell me who's running the country right now? Listen to this. Tell me this is not indicative of somebody who has given up on our country when he knows that power, he's lost power and he won't ever regain power again. And look at Jill Biden. Look at Dr. Jill. Look at Dr. Jill's energy. It's an insult, a slap in the face to all Americans. Watch this.
Mr. President, are you concerned about a widening war?
Are you concerned about a widening war? She says.
Mr. President, how are the attacks affecting ceasefire talks?
What about the ceasefire talks? She asks. Oh, we don't care. We're done. Didn't he say in his DNC speech, his disaster of a DNC speech, didn't he say that he was going to be Kamala Harris's most vocal volunteer? I laughed when he first said that. And I promise you, elector, and I promise you, I'm going to be her most vocal volunteer. Oh, really? Oh, really? What happened to Dr. Jill and all her energy and enthusiasm? You're so precious, Joe. You did it. What happened to all that? But no, you see these hypocrites? You see these lion-ass dogs? Give me an LAD in the comments right now. Big capital LAD. These hypocrites, as soon as they know they lost any chance, any opportunity of ever coming close to power, they pack it up and they pack it in. They give up 100%. They don't care about America. They don't care about you. They don't give a rat's ass about me. They don't care about anything but one thing and one thing only. And what's that? Good to see you, Howie. Power. That's all they care about. That's all they care about is power. Bunch of lion-ass dogs. That's all they are. So you have one president who actually cares, who doesn't need money, who's already got plenty of money, plenty of power, wields enough influence without being called president, took a bullet for us, right? Versus you've got an entire faction of lion-ass dogs. They don't give a rat's ass about anything but power. That's it. That's all they care about. Not only would they never take a bullet, but they would run for the hills as soon as a little bit of adversity springs up. The moment there's a little adversity, they run like fleeing cowards. That's what they do. Who's running the country? Here's my big question. Who is running the country? Can anybody tell me besides these LADs? Who's running the country? Because I don't know who's running the country. Do you? Is it Kamala? Is it Comrade Kamala? Is it the White House staff? The interns? Who's running? Here's what Kamala did. Here's what Comrade Kamala did instead of actually being there. She had her speaking of interns, right? Speaking of interns, here's what Kamala did. So Kamala had her interns write up a statement. Kamala had her interns write up a statement. That's what she had them do. Let me show you this. Instead of doing the right thing and actually showing up, Kamala had her interns post this on X. 3 years ago today, she's probably too drunk to show up. 3 years ago today, outside of Kabul, ISIS terrorists, let us come together as one nation to honor those. How can anybody take this person seriously? How can anybody take this person seriously? If you really, imagine this. If you really take the office of presidency, if you really care, remember, this is the same vermin, the same creature who shut down the crowd at the DNC when they started chanting USA, which was, by the way, we talked about this, which was the first time I've ever even heard the phrase USA uttered at Democratic anything. Never mind the DNC, any rally, Kamala Harris rally, Biden conference, Biden rally before her. I never heard chants of USA. When you hear chants of USA at a Trump rally, at a Trump press conference, or a Trump appearance, the whole room lights up. Trump lights up, and he never interrupts it. I'm not going to show it, but if you really have the desire to see for your, I always implore my audience, you guys, my fellow Americans, Nez Nation, do your own research. Critical thinking and critical discernment is your sovereignty, not only as an American, but as a human being. She cut them off, my fellow Americans. They started to chant USA, USA, and she cut them off. And did she cut them off with anything meaningful? No, just more drivel, more joy, joy, and more platitudes. How can we take you seriously, Kamala? This is a genuine plea from somebody you work for. I'm your boss because I'm an American citizen. You may not know it. You probably don't know it. You may not believe it, but you're a servant. You serve us. You serve the American people. So as your boss, I demand, how can you call yourself a viable, qualified candidate when instead of actually showing up and paying homage and actually talking to families, you have your White House interns write up a meaningless post on X, formerly known as Twitter? Somebody share my X handle too, by the way, in the comments. Everybody follow me on X. I post there daily, hourly, weekly. I post a lot of stuff I can't post anywhere else. So make sure you follow me on X. I'm pretty much at Professor Nez everywhere. Not only was she not there, but watch this. Not only was she not there, but listen to this. So I was going to play this. I want to share that. Listen to this. Families of the tragic victims of that day in Afghanistan had this to say about Kamala. I want you to listen closely here. Check this out. You're not going to believe this. Well, actually, you're going to believe this. You're definitely going to believe this. Watch this. If this doesn't make your blood boil, I don't know what will.
Has anyone reached out to you from the administration? This is 3 years now, and acknowledged, hey, we messed this up. We acknowledge that the loss of your son is preventable. Has any of the people you mentioned at least acknowledged privately in any way in reaching out, hey, we acknowledge what happened?
Biden and Harris, no, of course they have not. They want this swept under the rug. They want us to go away. Unfortunately for them, we're not going away. We do know that, Millie has reached out to us, and we are in the talks with him to get more information and to see what more we can get from him. But as far as the Biden administration, no, they haven't, and they won't.
So Millie reached out, but that's after he was out. So he's after being in power. Sort of a convenient way to look at it. It's like, okay, I know we messed up. I can't say it when I'm in an official position, but now that I'm out, now that I'll reach out.
That's so awful. That's so awful. Now do you get it, America? You need to tap the thumbs up, guys. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, and it takes less than a second. It's not for me. It's not for vanity. Everybody needs to know this. This is the truth that the propagandist machine, aka the woke fake mafia media, will never show. I'm not beholden to anybody. I'm not beholden to Pfizer. I'm not beholden to Moderna. I'm not beholden to Bill Gates or Microsoft. I do my own media. This is my own media company that's a mom and pop grassroots. My wife, who's a brilliant researcher, I do my own due diligence, qualitative and quantitative research. You got to share this out. This is about getting our country back, period. You got to tap the thumbs up. It takes you literally a nanosecond. Please, if you love America, tap the thumbs up and give me a huge USA, USA in the comments. This is a travesty. This is a travesty. They are 100% slaves to the donors, slaves to the DNC ATM machine. That's it. The real policymakers, the Soros, okay? They don't give a rat's ass about real Americans like you and I working our butts off to make this country great. They don't give a rat's ass about anybody but themselves. You mean to tell me these poor American families who lost their kids for the most patriotic service, the most American, true blue, red, white, and blue service you could ever do as a human being, as a citizen, as somebody who loves their country? You didn't even give them the courtesy of a phone call? Never mind the fact that you should have shown up with a bag full of money, a brand new house, a brand new car, like Oprah does with all her ridiculous giveaways, except for Hawaii, of course, except for Lahaina, of course. You don't even have the decency to give these poor families a phone call? Here's another excerpt. Watch this. It gets even... We have to talk about this. Some of you might be saying, Nez, I don't like hearing this. I don't either. But we have the most consequential election of our lives coming up. People need to hear this stuff because you're not going to find it anywhere else. So this is Marine Sergeant Tyler Vargas Andrews talking about his encounter with Joe Biden. I want you to really pay attention to this. He was a survivor at Abbey Gate, okay, in Afghanistan. Listen to this.
I was like, oh my fucking God. That's what I said.
Sorry for the language.
And this is
unbelievable. Can you believe that? I apologize for the language. I know the language was a little bit extreme there, but what do you want? Oh my God. I'm laughing just to keep from crying. I'm not laughing. Believe you me, I'm definitely not laughing. But if that was my son, my wife knows this too. If you're watching, honey, I know. She's probably like saying, calm down. And that vermin, that absolute swine leaned into my son who just literally got blown up for his country. And you say, what do you want? Notice how he said he didn't greet me. He didn't say hello. He didn't say thank you. He didn't say, hope you're doing good. Is there anything I can do? He just leaned into him and said, what do you want? I probably would have physically removed, even though it goes against every fiber of my being to be disrespectful to my elders, disrespectful to the office of president, to any office where my amazing country, the United States of America, is being represented, I think I would physically remove him from the room and probably get arrested. And who knows, maybe even beaten over the head. My needle would have broken. There wouldn't be enough red for the needle to go. It would have absolutely popped. That's why I say everybody needs to know the truth about the hypocrites. Everybody needs to know who these people really are. They are rotten to the core. When I tell you that I've worked with them, when I tell you that I've been around them for decades working in the public sector, I know everything about their agenda. I know everything about what they represent. I know all the things that they actually care about, which is this, money and power. This should make you absolutely livid. And I want you livid. I want you livid. I want you as angry as me. Anger is good sometimes, okay? I'm not saying you need to be chronically angry, but everybody should have a fire in their belly right now. Everybody should. This is it, my fellow Americans. This is it. We have to come out in droves to the ballot box in November. In droves. I told you guys, do not rest on your laurels. Do not become complacent. Don't believe any poll. As a matter of fact, I hardly ever show. I mean, very rarely that I ever show a poll because they're all BS. I don't care if it says Trump is guaranteed, all this BS. I see a lot of people celebrating, spiking the football. No. We need to work like we're down by 10 with a minute left in the game. We need to work 100x harder. I always say this. My favorite sport is tennis. And so I always say we're down 6 love, 5 love, but we're going to work. We're going to work and we're going to come all the way back and we're going to win the match. This is it, my fellow Americans. This is it. It's unbelievable. So to me, Trump showing up and Trump actually honoring the ones that sacrificed themselves when he's not even the sitting president. Yeah, he's a former president, hopefully a future president, 47. What he did to me showed true leadership, not only to Americans, not only to the nation, to the entire world, and especially to the most unqualified, the worst president in the history of our country, Joe Biden, and the absolute indisputable worst vice president in the entire history of our country, Kamala Harris. Remember how he kept checking his watch too, guys? You remember that? Do you remember that? Kabul Gold Star families who told the New York Post that it took all self-restraint to not put my fist right through my TV, whose son, Marine Corporal Jared Schmitz, was among the fallen 13. He said, I was beyond ticked off, disrespected. That's all we've ever gotten out of this president. Oh, there's your Biden for you right there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I can't wait to hear from you. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I want to talk about a couple more things. First, I want to share this clip of the absolute psychopathic Kennedy family. And I'm going to show you, we're going to end on this clip on exactly why Quentin Tarantino and the entire DNC never want Kamala Harris to speak. But first, Carrie Kennedy, who's disowning her brother, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who we all know, I did a video on it, has just endorsed President Trump. She's outraged and disgusted. She goes on one of the worst shows in the history of broadcasting, Jen Psaki's MSNBC show, and she says this. I'm going to share this clip real fast, and then we'll talk about it.
Why do you feel so compelled to speak out at this moment?
You know, I think this is really the stakes this November couldn't be higher, which is exactly why my whole family will be fighting so hard to reelect Kamala Harris and Coach Waltz, who've been champions for the values that my family has fought for years. Donald Trump is the polar opposite. He's a threat to the most basic freedoms that are core to who we are as Americans, the right for women to control our bodies.
That's not true. By the way, this is another thing, another lie that they perpetuated at the DNC. Donald Trump is not, they keep saying he's going to ban abortion. He's going to ban. He never, ever said that. He never once said he was going to institute a federal ban of abortion. What he has said, what is the absolute truth, which is exactly how our forefathers envisioned it, is he's going to throw all of that back to the states and let the states decide. Let the people who actually live in those states elect the officials that are supposed to represent them to pass the legislation that they want to see, which is, I think, the honorable thing to do. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. They think he's going to, first day in office, he's going to issue an executive order saying federal ban on abortion. That's what they think. And they keep perpetuating this lie.
The right to live in communities safe from gun violence, to love who you love. And I think if my dad were alive today, the real Robert Kennedy would have detested almost everything Donald Trump represents. His lying, his selfishness, his rage, his cynicism, hatred, racism, fascist sympathies, deliberate misinformation about vaccines, criminal felony convictions. Daddy was the Attorney General of the United States.
So everything that she literally just said is literally everything that these hypocrites have done. They have spread misinformation. They own the woke media. They lie about everything. They didn't cover a single policy. The sham trial was a complete sham. Most of them have already been dismissed. Jack Smith could face jail time. Fannie Cash Money G is going to probably get disbarred. Letitia Big Shame James lost. Judge Gargamel lost. Judge Juan Merchan, the fake Don, is going to issue a sentencing, but he's already delayed that many, many times. Most legal experts and scholars call this a complete sham. It never, ever would have come to light. Alvin Do Nothing Bragg even bypassed this, and he dismissed this, said he skipped it years ago, saying, no, there's not enough here. All of a sudden, as soon as Trump starts winning, oh no, there's something here. We're going to take the case up. And not only is it not a misdemeanor, it's a felony. And then the jury, there was all sorts of craziness on the jury instruction. So we all know that that's a sham. Lying, discrimination, and racism, DEI woke ideologies are literally discrimination. You are spreading misinformation while you're talking about the other candidate who is spreading misinformation. The irony is too breathtakingly profound, my fellow Americans.
His rape of E. Jean Carroll, his contempt for the poor and suffering, for ethics, democracy, healing,
Jen Psaki's
his cruel sneering at human rights for suffering people in America and around the world. And these are the causes that was loved so passionately by the real Robert Kennedy. So I'm outraged and disgusted by my brother's gaudy and obscene embrace of Donald Trump. And
so it's disrupted many families. This. By the way, let me know, have you experienced this within your own family for your political choices? Isn't what John F. Kennedy and Robert Kennedy, isn't what they fought for the right to choose? Isn't that what they fought for? You're going to disown and spill your dirty laundry to millions and millions of Americans in a wildly public fashion? Over his right to choose? Isn't that what your dad, isn't that what your uncle fought for? Were the basic freedoms of Americans and their ability to choose whomever they want to choose? I think this is so tacky. I think it's really embarrassing And it lacks class and it lacks dignity. Never mind the fact that she's completely lying and wrong about everything she just said. I don't know about you. Here's a good litmus test. After anybody that I've heard, we had that amazing guest on our show. I forget her name. I apologize. She was at the Butler, Pennsylvania. You got to watch that if you haven't seen that. We interviewed her. She was a key witness. She was at the Butler, Pennsylvania rally where President Trump had an assassination attempt on him. She said it was her first Trump rally. Here's the litmus test. She said it was her first Trump rally, and she said, I've never felt more welcome. I've never felt more loved. I've never felt more included. I never felt a feeling of a party atmosphere celebrating. She said, I never felt more American. She said, I never felt more American in that moment. Go watch the interview. I highly, highly recommend it. It's an amazing interview. Maybe one of my mods can find it and leave a link in the comments. But have you been to if you look at what happened at the DNC with this cringy, phony joy chant, which is tied to Nazi origins. It's literally tied to Nazi origins. I posted this on X. And the fact that there's so much negativity at a Biden rally. He yells all the time. I never have once been inspired. I've never once been inspired. I've never had a feeling of, wow, I love my country, a renewed sense of pride in America after listening to Kamala or listening to Biden. I'll admit that Obama's a great orator. He's a great speaker, but eloquence is not synonymous with intelligence. Don't ever get that twisted. He is a very articulate and erudite fibber. That's all he is. He lies more than anybody. And so I think that is one of the biggest litmus tests. This is supposed to be the party where democracy's on the ballot. This is supposed to be the party where decency's on the ballot. When they literally bypassed millions of American voters, they executed a coup in broad daylight on a sitting president. They have erected an individual who destroyed San Francisco as DA, destroyed California as the Attorney General, had one task, one job as the worst vice president in the history of the country. And she not only failed it, she failed abysmally at it. We have the worst border crisis in the history of the world. And in DEI fashion, in didn't earn it philosophy, methodology, and process, they're going to promote her. They're going to promote her to president. Is this what our country has become? Is this a meritocracy? Is this what made America America? How about instead of make America great again, make America America again? Can we make America America again? If you're so offended by MAGA, how about we just make it America? Because this is not America. You cannot, in good conscience, ascribe to these radical Marxist, Leninist, communist, radical, extreme, pro-terrorist supporting Hippocrats and say you're American. Impossible. It is impossible to call yourself an American. I don't see how you can justify that. Absolutely impossible. And they're going to promote her. Destroyed San Francisco, destroyed California, had one job as VP, and they want to promote her. Holy mackerel. Are you kidding me right now? You want to know why they never, ever let her speak?
On a different front.
Listen to this. Listen to this. This will make you just... You want to know why they never, ever let her go off teleprompter? You know how many times, by the way, how many times has Trump gone off teleprompter and he's still engaging, charming, funny, patriotic, lively, vivacious? Listen to this. This is why Quentin Tarantino doesn't want her to do any interviews. This is why the entire DNC money machine has done everything in their power to avoid her taking one question from a reporter. Because as soon as she does, this happens.
On a different front, Axios this week reported that President Trump, if he gets a second term, will sort of dial back, for lack of a better term, DEI programs that the Biden administration has put in forth. Obviously, I know you disagree with that. I obviously believe that you don't want him to get a second term. That said, if that does happen, what do you think that would do to race relations in this country?
Well, let me say we're going to win, so it's not going to happen.
So
but
gross.
I think that, listen, today is actually, I believe, an anniversary in terms of Dr. King, right? And I was just in Selma, and we acknowledged the 59th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. I think it's really important that we as Americans always embrace our history, the parts that we're proud of and the parts that we're not proud of, but that we can't forget.
What?
And we should all agree that we should teach history. We should learn history if we're to ever have an accurate idea of where we want to go and where we don't want to go in the future. And that means also acknowledging the importance of diversity. It means acknowledging the importance of the fact that everyone should have equal opportunity to compete and equity. And then, of course, inclusion, that, hey, let's look around the room and see who's not here. And did we leave the door open?
Oh my God. What did anybody? Okay. I'm not even kidding right now. I'm not even making a joke right now. Did she, first of all, what did she just say? What does that mean? Did she say anything? First of all, can anybody speak gibberish? Can anybody speak word salad and translate this for me? Can anybody speak empty? Can anybody speak empty? Because I'm not versed in empty. Number two, did she answer his question? Once you translated for me, did she actually translate? Did she actually answer his question? I'm with you, Howie. I have no clue. And she does sound drunk, right, John? She sounds hammered. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, that is why nobody wants her to get in front of a teleprompter, to answer any questions, to hold a press conference. That is why Quentin Tarantino said recently on Bill Maher's show, don't do one until after the election. Can you believe that? An actual American is going to vote for Kamala Harris because he said, I'm going to vote for her no matter what. That's what he said. I forgot to add that. Excuse me, I had to get a little wata. He actually said that. He said, I'm going to vote for her anyway. So just shut the F up until the election. That's what he said. You can actually call yourself an American and base your beautiful right that was afforded to you from the sacrifice of tons of other Americans that came before you and fell before you and fought and died for you. You're going to besmear and besmirch their legacy by just saying, I'm going to vote blindly. I don't care if she doesn't have any policies, just because that's DEI, because of the way she looks, because she's not the other guy, because she's a woman, because of her skin tone. That, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot earn a position based on something you have zero control over. If you do, you didn't earn it. Didn't earn it. This is why I'm so adamant that it is the most destructive contagion that has ever infected our amazing republic. We actually have, Quentin Tarantino is not stupid. Quentin Tarantino is a full grown-ass man who is highly intelligent. And he has betrayed his intelligence by claiming publicly on the record, I don't care, I'm going to vote for her anyway, without hearing a single policy. Somehow, even our brightest are hypnotized by this. Somehow, even our brightest, and when I say somehow, I know how, and I know you know how, propaganda is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful force in the universe. It's worked. It's the same reason why there was an assassination attempt on a Republican, the first one, and the last one was on a Republican too, back in the 80s with Ronald Reagan. That's an interesting connection. I got to be honest, when Obama won in 2008, I thought for sure, like, wow, we're overdue for an assassination attempt. This would be the right time and probably the right guy. I'm not saying I wanted to see that happen. I never want to see anything like that happen. I'm not a fan of violence, not even close, although I don't take any boop from anybody. If push comes to shove and I have to engage, I will engage because I'm not going to take crap from anybody. But I hate violence. I'm not a fan of violence. I would never wish that on anybody who didn't deserve it. I remember, I'm like, man, this guy better have extra security. First black president who's preaching some seriously radical progressive ideas, who wants to basically change and uproot the entire system. And I have to say, I was inspired by a lot of the stuff he said. I was one of those believers back in the day. Oh yeah, hope and change. It sounds good. Maybe a new, fresh idea, because I'm not left or right. I've never claimed to be left or right. People call me a right-wing nut job, especially friends and even some family members now. But I'm not right or left. If anything, I'm a constitutional centrist. I just believe in practicality. I love my country. And it pains me to no end to see what's happening to my country. But propaganda is extremely powerful. And it's the same propaganda that infected Thomas Crooks's feeble, weak mind and essentially lit the fuse for him to pull the trigger on that fateful day, ending the life of an innocent bystander and wounding others and almost taking out our president. They haven't stopped. They haven't stopped. The entire DNC was vitriolic and inflammatory rhetoric to the tilt. They said all sorts of awful things that they still call him Hitler. They still call him the Antichrist. They still call him dangerous. They still call him all these things. And you get that pounded into your brain enough, you're going to get some weak-minded, feeble momos to believe it. Now it's infecting our brightest because they're bombarded by it all over the place. Remember what Marshall McLuhan said, media is the message is the medium. And right now, there is a powerhouse, millions and billions of dollars that are injected into this message, into this medium called the woke fake news mafia media. And they keep pounding it into the brains of everyday Americans. Thank God there's channels like mine out there. There's independent grassroots media organizations, citizen journalists doing their own research, patriotic individuals who care about their country, who bleed red, white, and blue. Thank God there's people out there who are fighting the good fight. And I'm going to continue, hopefully, to honor that tradition and continue my fight. Okay, let's give some. So I want to hear your thought. I can't wait to read your comments, replay viewers, live viewers. I can't wait. I'm going to give some shout outs to some amazing people. I want to give a big shout out to Lori Lieberger. I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize. I'm not really that great with names, so I apologize if I butcher that. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to being a new member. Make sure you go check out all the perks and amenities. Also, go to our community tab, and there you will see a link to our members-only Discord. It is a thriving, awesome, engaging community. We have a lot of fun in there. I'm in there. Go. As soon as you become a member, you should go join our Discord, okay? Thank you so much, Jim Bear and JB, my man JB in the house. It's so great to see you. Jim, he has gifted a couple of memberships. You are awesome. Jim, thank you so much. God bless you, Jim. You are the best. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. J.R. Williams, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. He says, UCLA Medical School was exposed for passing minority students with a grading curve that would be failing grades for white and Asian students. I have taught at UCLA before. Not the actual campus in Westwood, but their extension program. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I've taught it probably, I could honestly say, thank you, J.R. Williams, for the $4.99 super chat, by the way. Excellent point. I can speak firsthand to everything that you're saying. Not only did they do that, not only did they engage in that, but they also did great inflation, essentially saying, if you have the money and you pay, we'll give you the A. If you pay, you get the A. That was a lot of their mindsets. I mean, it's a business. It's a business. And it's a business of indoctrination, not education. That's a fact. If you dare, I mean, they even got rid of some of the donors once they found out. They changed. I was at a university, I won't mention their name, but they actually changed the name of the business school. I was teaching at the business school. This was a state university, not one of the private universities that I've taught at. And I guess it wouldn't be too hard to find out who it is if you just go to my LinkedIn. But so I said I wasn't going to mention it, but it's probably easy to find out. They changed the name of the business school once they found out that the donor, the name that was ascribed to that was conservative. It's a mafia. This is a criminal organization. The Hippocrats, the radical liberals, the Soros-funded, Clooney, Hollywood-funded. This is a criminal organization. They're no different than the mafia. They are the mafia. They're mafia in cheaper suits. Let's just put it, and they eat shittier food. Essentially. Cheryl Holmes, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. You absolutely rock. Thank you so much, Cheryl. I really appreciate you, Cheryl. Thank you so much. Welcome. I'm so happy you're here. It's great to see you. And I appreciate the $9.99 super chat. Jim Barron, you're just phenomenal, Jim. You are absolutely phenomenal. I cannot thank you enough, Jim. You absolutely rock. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you to no end. Thank you for the gifted membership. Okay, before we get out of here, so I want to hear from you. I want you to tap the thumbs up if you haven't. It's free. It helps us to reach more people. Subscribe to our free newsletter. It's free. It's just free. It's in the pinned comment, show notes, and description. Don't forget, now would be an amazing time to become a member. Just click that join button down below because we are going to have our 300,000 subscriber live stream giveaway Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, Saturday, August 31st. Make sure you're there. Mark your calendar. The topic will be to be determined because it's based on what's happening. I always give you the latest, greatest, but I can't wait to do that. That is when we're going to be doing it. I'm giving away 3 Amazon gift cards worth $300 in value. Plus hats, mugs, shirts. It's going to be fun. We have a live stream party. We have so much fun in our giveaways. We have so much fun in our live streams. Now would be an amazing time for you to become a member because the giveaway portion will be for members only. So I'm so excited for that. Can't wait for that. And I can't wait to hear from you. So make sure that you take all that into consideration. Thank you so much for joining me. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right now. As always, may God bless you